Hey, everybody. You're about to hear a synopsis of the movie Deadfall. Sean Randall, 16, was sleeping peacefully in his bed when a police car pulled up to his house. The cops served his father with a search warrant and went inside. 5 guns were seized and Sean was accused of planning something terrible, but the guy claims he doesn't know anything about guns. However, he managed to make a video on his phone where he argues about which gun he would look better with. Then young Goth went hunting with his father in his special outfit. Sean quickly got bored and stuck his headphones in his ears and started listening to his favorite heavy metal. A deer came straight out to him. The guy raised his gun and took aim, but he didn't shoot. Instead, the animal was finished off by his father. On his phone, Sean also filmed his father gutting the deer's soul. Immediately after the hunt, the guy stopped by a cafe in a shopping center. He had the deer's blood on his hands. Young people mock the Goth, but the girl sitting across from him sympathizes with him. But he immediately showed the deer's insides, which did not add to his score. Someone threw a burger at Sean. It was the guys from the hockey team. But they wouldn't admit who. Sean demanded that they don't do that anymore, but in response the athletes took his phone away from him and started pushing him and hitting him in the face. This footage also got into the hands of the police. The detainee is asked about the captain, Teen Corey. He probably hates him, but Sean replies that, according to the video, it's Corey who hates him and he's the one who needs to be questioned. Then the detective pulls out Sean's personal diary, in which he describes how he'll use 2 Colts to deal with the hockey team. In that very cafe, he even indicated the order in which he would send the guys to the other world, the same story the schoolboy posted on his website. Sean stated that in this story he was advised to write a school psychologist, Miss Dory, after she learned what happened in the cafe. The young man did not share the problem with his family, and she advised him to spill his emotions on paper. Diane, Corey's hockey player girlfriend, approached Sean on the bus. He was in the middle of writing his revenge story. The schoolgirl burned him a CD of his favorite heavy music and told him that his gut-wrenching video is already on everyone's phones. At dinner, his father tells Sean that it would be easier for him to show up socially with him if he changed his masquerade costume. People don't like white crows. Sean has a nice online chat with Diana in the evenings. He doesn't consider himself a goth, he's just the way he is and doesn't care if someone doesn't like him. Diana, on the other hand, wants everyone to like him. Dad was surprised that Sean is friends with the school princess Diana, but at school she keeps away from the strange guy as much as possible because her friends condemn her for such friendship and say nasty things to Sean's face. But when others do not see Diana changes, she agrees that Sean came to her house and helped to prepare for the test. The girl took his phone and found a video in which he plays with his younger half-sister. It turns out that brutal-looking Sean can be quite cute. It turns out that Diana would like to study with him, not only lessons. Sean's mood is lifted after the lessons, except that Diane is still Corey's girlfriend. Sean started texting her. Her friend quickly guessed who the sender was. Sean left the cafeteria, but Corey and a few other hockey players followed him. The guy was pinned against the wall and Corey asked how Sean got his girlfriend's number. The athlete grabbed Sean by his eyebrow piercing and threatened to kill him if he ever saw him with Diana again. But Sean hasn't stopped talking to the girl. True, she no longer agrees to video calls. Angry Sean wrote that he'd kill Corey. He has the necessary means for this. These words also joined the case, but according to Sean it was just a response to threats from Corey. The only witnesses to that were hockey players. So you could say there were no witnesses. Sean's father was also charged with improper possession of weapons, and he doesn't really support his son because the guy wanted to stand out. Well, he did. Sean was brought into a courtroom packed with residents and reporters. The boy is accused of threatening and planning an attack on students and teachers at the high school. Prosecutors say he is a danger to himself and others. Therefore, he should be denied bail. The free lawyer was unable to convince the judge otherwise, and Sean was sent to a juvenile detention center. The frightened young man obediently follows all the orders of the guards. The newcomer was greeted loudly, with jokes and sneers. Sean entered the cell and turned over the riddled mattresses. In the canteen, the newcomer immediately snatched up all the food, leaving him only a muffin. Local authority Trevor sat down to talk to him. The cons have 3 newspaper clippings. One teenager committed armed robbery, another stole 10 cars, and the third was planning a mass murder. So which one is Sean and the kid lied about being a robber? The prisoners waited at the exit until the cook had counted all the cooking utensils, and only then were they able to disperse to their cells. Sean called Diana, but her father immediately picked up the phone and asked who was calling. The conversation never took place. Sean went into the bathroom, he heard some noise, and then Trevor headbutted him in the nose. No need to lie, he was the Satanist who was going to shoot up the hockey team. His father mortgages the house to hire the best lawyer, who suggests that Sean pretend to be caught and plead guilty. Then he'll go straight to prison. But the guy refuses to talk about himself. He is waiting for his mom, who lives in another state, to come to him. Sean became Trevor's 6. He continues to take away his meat during dinner. He won't say why he's in jail, but Lucas told Sean about it in confidence. Trevor nailed Santa Claus, an old man who dressed up in a costume and tried to touch kids in different places. So Trevor freaked out and nailed him with his bare hands 5 years ago. Finally, Sean came to his mom. The young man coming out of prison would like to live with her and his sister, but the new man, Paula, will not allow it. Trevor, while playing ping pong, makes Sean run after the ball every time it falls on the floor. Everyone around laughed and mocked him until Sean's nerves gave out and he crushed the ball. He was saved from payback by a security guard. Sean still has 2 weeks to go before his trial, though he can still end it all at one point. In the mess hall, Sean was given a chance to eat, for he would have a hard time today. The cook told the guard after lunch that one appliance was missing. The man gave the guys a chance to admit to themselves who kept the souvenir. Sean stepped forward and was placed in isolation for exactly 2 weeks. There is nothing in the cell but a bed. The walker's walking in a circle with 2 other lucky guys. The lamp always shines brightly and makes a nasty rattling sound, which makes Sean unable to sleep. Every day being in the isolation ward becomes more and more difficult. He doesn't know how much time has passed and how much time is left. At last they came for him and brought him to the lawyer's office. The table was covered with pictures of his case. Sean was shocked to hear the news that the hearing would be postponed for another 2 months. The boy was once again offered to plead guilty, and this time he surrendered. In court, Sean confirmed that he planned to attack 27 people in the town. The judge issued a conditional cooling-off order, with Sean banned from attending any school in the area and even entering the grounds of educational institutions. Also forbidden to have contact with all persons who were on his list. Trouble is, Diana was one of them. All the guns were confiscated. The room was completely empty. After the search, the computer was taken, too. Since Sean can't go to school, his father offered to work with him at the rink. The whole life of the guy went down the drain. He burned his discs and leather jacket on the fire. Now he helps his father and spends his free time reading. Residents of the city squint at Sean. If possible, he tries to avoid any contact with them, and he also restrains himself not to approach Diana, who works in a cafe. The man is pleased that his son has dirt under his fingernails. Sean got his first paycheck. The guy jokes that he should probably start saving up for plastic surgery because people think he's crazy. But in the meantime, he bought a used car. That same day, the car was tagged with the word psycho, the glass was smashed, and the rearview mirror was broken. Sean finally got all his stuff back, including his cell phone and a video of Diana. Sean couldn't take it anymore and approached the girl at the cafe. Sean apologized. He didn't want to scare her, and Diana told him that she was no longer dating Corey. Soon Sean waited for the girl after work, so they talked in the car some more. They continued to date in secret from everyone. The walls in Sean's room are as blank as his new look, but Diane likes it. At the most inopportune moment, her father came home. He recognized Diana's car and asked to escort the girl out. Diana didn't know that the guy was forbidden to approach her. At work, Sean didn't have time to leave before the hockey players arrived at the rink. Corey immediately started to lash out at him, and his father barely had time to separate them. Sean accidentally hit him. The young man lacked stamina, and he again met with Diana. The girl does not want him to be arrested, so she offered to call on Skype in the evening. At home, Sean is losing his mind. He's out of prison only to end up in another prison. He can't live like his father. The guy drove straight to Diane's house and texted her to get out, but after a while, the cops pulled up next to his car. Sean was thrown in jail again, and it turns out Diane's father was texting him on the phone. Now he's filing a harassment complaint. The lawyer says Sean will just have to reiterate his remorse. Following him to court, Diane's parents show up, and then the girl herself. Sean says he only approached her at the cafe to apologize. Apologize for wanting to kill her and 26 other people? Clarified the judge, and then Sean blurted out that he didn't have any murder plan, and that's a serious problem. Because Sean is retracting his previous confession. His father stood by him today. In wanting to tell the truth, he realized that's exactly what his son needed. Sean admitted that he didn't mean anything by it. He just put it on paper. That's all. But recently the guy said the opposite, which means he's already testified and he was sent back to the colony, serving a 3-month sentence. His old friends were just decorating the tree for Christmas. Sean went straight to his cell. In the mess hall, Trevor started harassing him again. He threatened Sean to nail him. Trevor understandably doesn't like Christmas, and there was a Santa Claus movie on TV. Sean went into the bathroom, followed by Danny. The door on the other side was closed. The boar came at Sean with a shiv, but he was expecting an attack and headbutted Danny. He took the shiv away and walked out of the bathroom unharmed. The juvies call him by his first name now. His mom sent him a phone and a drawing from his little sister. Trevor was in a bad mood, his 6 was beaten up, and Sean was starting to get some respect. Suddenly, he reminds Trevor of the Santa Claus incident and he lashes out at him. He's furious and promises to kill Sean. Both brawlers are put in lockup. Trevor keeps banging his head against the door. He was dragged away by force and calmed down. Afterward, Trevor starts pounding on the lamp because he can't sleep either. The guards and the doctor came in again with a sedative, and after a while he was roused and sent to lunch. The guy is thirsty. Sean offered his water glass, but Trevor knocked it over. The rebel was dragged back to his cell without being fed. During the other meals, Sean tried each time to establish a relationship with Trevor and even refused to leave the isolation cell. When he found out that his enemy was being left here alone. Then one day Trevor talked to him and told him why he nailed Santa Claus. They left the lockup together. After Sean gave Trevor his phone, he managed to settle everything without violence. Sean's dad and Diane came over for a date. Her dad can't tell her who to date anymore. She moved to a rented apartment and now you will wait for the guy to be released. They will overcome all the difficulties together.